And welcome back to the Splitting Hairs podcast, brought to you by Jackrabbit Illustrated and our premier sponsors, Cottonwood Bistro and Drake's Place, Cottonwood Coffee and Drake's Place. And I got to experience both Cottonwood and Drake's on the same day. So Saturday was a beautiful day just for that reason alone. Chad, and tonight I'm joined by Chad Myros, host of the Takedown podcast, typically on the B team, but he's joining me tonight along with Dallas. So both of you, how the heck are you after that Dakota Marker victory?
I'm doing fantastic, buddy. Go ahead, Chad. You jump in.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm a little more rugged version of Kyle and a few more pounds.
Rugged. That's a good word.
Describe a lot of people I know. No, dude, that's feeling really, really good coming off of that. I had a great day. I brought, it was my birthday weekend. So I do every year. It's like a tradition. I get, it's kind of like the wind down after my busy work season. And I bring out as many people as I can. And it's usually kind of like a mix of a whole bunch of groups. And it's high school buddies and whatever. I had, I think, 15 tickets, most of which had no rooting interest in the game, but just wanted to come with. They were all wearing blue, all had a great time. And it was, weather was perfect. And man, what a great day, dude. I had so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, Dallas. Mm-hmm. If I'd have known that, I'd have got you a present.
Thank you. Yeah, you gave me 2 spotted cows.
That's true.
That was absolutely.
Good. That's good. hey, my birthday was in August, so Chad,
come on over. I'll give you some spotted cow. Hell.
Okay, sounds good. So as I mentioned, Cottonwood Coffee stopped there to give them a gift for being one of our premier sponsors. Got some coffee from them. It was wonderful. Checked out the new patio outdoors. What a beautiful space. That is going to be awesome for the extended fall, like now, summer, spring. Go check it out. Get your coffee ordered there. It's the best.
That's how I started my day.
Yeah. And then Drake's Place. They were tailgating with us, right, Chad, at your spot?
They came over and brought over some of the Club 71 club sandwiches, and they were fantastic.
So good.
Fantastic.
Their food's so good. But then they were like, oh, man, it's not as good as the candied bacon and the brisket. And I'm like, they're pretty good sandwiches, I'm going to say.
No, those are fantastic sandwiches. I loved them. Such good people, too. And his boy, his young, tiny son that Robert has with him all the time, his kid is so big. He's a tackle for O'Gorman. He blew his knee out, hurt his knee earlier in the season, came back for right at the end, but just a man-child. Kid's enormous.
That's awesome.
He's about my size, so.
Yeah. So let's get into the day itself. We had an awesome day. We all got to see each other for the first time ever. The 6 of us were in the same spot at once. We took a picture. Someday that'll show up. Tailgating was a blast. The atmosphere was incredible. What more can you guys say about the day?
I don't know. I actually, all 6 of us being in one place, I kind of thought maybe one of us was Batman or something, because I'd never seen all of us in one place at one time. It had never happened, and then just the stars aligned, and then we all showed up. But oh my God, tailgate! That was one of the best tailgates I've ever had, ever attended. I brought all these people that had nothing to do with SDSU. They were all just floored, so excited, loved the atmosphere. Everybody was friendly. Even the furry cow folks that were roaming through, they were all cheerful and happy, and everybody got along.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say we've done a pretty good job making tailgating a great atmosphere, especially over where we tailgate. I mean, your guys' tailgate's cool too. I've been over there in the past. It's definitely been pretty solid for a long time, but there was some issues a few years back, and we've made some strides there, and we made some strides with game day operations like we were talking about previously. And Dallas was saying the stars align. Are you saying that Joe and Sean are the stars?
Ooh. Yeah,
that's a good point. No, I didn't think about that. That was really,
it's okay.
Really cool.
They don't watch this, I'm sure.
They're gonna listen. I know they will now. They have to.
I'm just joking.
I can't wait to listen to that Believe podcast and hear them talk about it, because they were not prepared for what they experienced.
So Joe and Sean, yeah, right. So Joe and Sean, if you haven't followed or don't follow our Twitter, are some national podcast host that we met, part of the Believe Sports podcast network. 2 former student athletes from the University of Rhode Island. Sean played tackle, offensive tackle, and Joe was a long snapper. They were college roommates. They started hosting this podcast while in college, and they've just kind of carried it forward now that they're both graduates. So they're about 22, 23 years old. They put up a poll this summer. Which football game should we go to anywhere in the country? We got a hold of it. You guys blew it up. So they had to come to Brookings for the Marker game. Both have never been really too far in the middle of the country like this before. They couldn't believe how cheap the drinks were. They got in Brookings Friday night, had the hell of a time, it sounds like. And and just were in rough shape at tailgating the next day. They sat by Chad. So I'm excited to hear about their adventures on their podcast. They're entertaining anyways. So I just am glad that they got to experience Brookings for all that it is, for all that it is. So, and then one last thing on tailgating before we get into the game here. It was amazing tailgating, Chad, from your guys' area all the way into the backyard. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I want to give a shout out to UPD. For years now, we've said UPD has been just too harsh, too invasive, too fun-hating.
Right.
And they have not been that this year. Their presence has been the right amount. Like you see them, they wave, they're friendly. They might come and tell a joke with you, but then they move on.
That's a good point.
And I haven't seen a single complaint about them this year. And so I just wanted to, if there's any SDSU folks or any UPD folks listening, game operations folks, send a thank you to UPD for just lightening up this year and letting tailgate be kind of a normal college tailgate out there.
And listen, if that was one of your complaints and kept you from coming to get back to games, it's not a problem anymore. In fact, they don't even police the wristband thing like they used to. They don't even come through the tailgate. So they just drive by and wave. Hey, guys, how's it going?
Yep.
Not to drag this out any longer than it has to, Matt, but I had another thought just on general tailgate atmosphere. One of my buddies that had never been to a game, and he's like the biggest football fan that I know, comes from a football family. He played at Bemidji State. He had like 4 or 5 relatives play at Iowa and Iowa State. He actually went to law school at Alabama, so he's a Crimson Tide guy. He's an SEC guy through and through. He said when I told him I was talking about tailgate, I'm like, yeah, I wish we would have got here a little bit sooner because we rolled in at 11. And he's like, dude, I would leave the house at 5:30 in the morning every week for this. Are you kidding me? So I mean, to impress an actual SEC guy, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Neat. All right. Well, so we've talked all about up to the game time. So let's get into the stadium now. The flyover, incredible. On that. Yeah, Chad.
I just got one point about that. The timing. Good. So good. If you weren't right in my section, you didn't hear the disgrace of our national anthem over the freedom coming out of the tailpipe of the F-16. So awesome.
I didn't hear any of it.
Out. Love it.
Yeah.
That's a major pet peeve of mine, honestly. I can't stand that.
Yeah, I didn't hear the NDSU fans disgrace our national anthem either. So
it's like it didn't even happen.
Right. All right. So the game itself, I put out rants and raves this morning. I have a 16-month-old at home, so that she didn't care about the time change at all. So I was up pretty early this morning writing with her in my lap. Man, we said in the what to watch that it came down the line of scrimmage, right, guys? That's what we said. What are your thoughts overall? How did we do at the line of scrimmage there?
When it got done, the evidence was there, and you could tell that specifically. I watched the defensive line pretty closely anyway. Offensive line, though, just from the results, could tell they played a strong game. But I got done and realized that I wished I would have watched some individual contributions, and I didn't do that. So I'd love to hear you chime in, Matt, because you were down on the field, right? Mm-hmm. You were right down there in it. But, I mean, the fact that they only gave up 1 sack to this team that had 31 coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, 31. Just a tremendous performance there, I think, by the big guys.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chad. Oh, Chad, you're muted, man.
Sorry, I had to go off screen for a second. The second play of the game showed that, right? I mean, that was perfectly blocked up. Now, Coach Entz would say, "Oh, a guy didn't hit his fit." Well, okay, maybe, but it was blocked really well, and that 175-yard run sure messed up their 8.9 per average that they're all crowing about for the last 3 weeks. But we don't see that on Twitter much.
I yelled 8 points so many times, just over and over and over.
Yeah. So Dallas, what you asked, the 605 Hogs. I mean, NDSU for years and years and years, right, has always played on our side of the line of scrimmage. Even with Zenner, it always felt like Zenner was having to bounce in the backfield. He wasn't able to find those creases that he always did. Yesterday, they were just creating lanes. If you break it down and take out the Pierce 75-yard run, it was a fairly pedestrian day, but he was still getting 3-4 yards per carry.
It was a 4-yard. I actually calculated it out. Yes. Ben style. It was about a 4.1 without that 75. So it's still not a bad day at all.
Man, it's not a bad day at all. I think
he grounded out better against them than he has most other games of the year. So kudos to him. That's a great D line.
Mm-hmm. And I know this is probably getting old for people to listen to, but Pierre's speed this year is just different. On that 75-yard run, that number 2 had an angle, and Pierre jetted right by him. Like is that Dawson Weber? Like 2's Dawson Weber, I think, and he didn't have a chance. Like if it was a poor angle or what. But man, Pierre's really turning some heads with what he's doing this year. And just listening to him in the post-game press conference and then with Tyler Merriam, I mean, his maturity is just off the charts, and how grateful he is for this year. You can just tell, like, there's a gratitude in his voice for this season that he's having. So happy for that young man. That's for sure.
Yep. Can I, just because I saw Ryan Jensen comment here, I want to derail the conversation to give him a thank you. My beverages are courtesy of him. He posted from Lucky Bucket a Cocoa Brown Ale with an angry rabbit on it, and I said, "Oh my God, I need that." And then he brought me some to tailgate. He drove like an hour to get it and brought it up. So thank you, Ryan. It's fantastic, by the way.
That's awesome. We had the talk about the PS2 touchdown pass. Rick Jensen, another gear, the speed again that we've talked about. Jim Poppin. I could have run through that hole for only about 8 to 11 yards.
I mean, if Jim's getting 8 to 11 yards, our O-line is doing good. No offense, Jim. I'm right there with you.
Oh, man. They good.
Look good. Well, there was just this overwhelming theme, too, that I noticed after the game, during the game, after the game, and then in social media of this, we just didn't play very well. We just didn't play well. Well, maybe you played a good team, and that's why you didn't look that good, guys.
They tried to say that, but then they would follow it up with, we just didn't play very well. Right?
Yep.
So I had this conversation on the sidelines with Ron McKnight. That was the most un-Bison-like Bison team I've ever seen, though, is what we saw yesterday. The penalties.
In the spring?
Oh, yeah. The penalties, the turnovers, they lost both sides of the ball in the trenches. The time management at the end of the first half, I mean, they went out of bounds twice. We didn't have to burn a single timeout on that last drive, which allowed us to kick that field goal and get 3 points. They just looked undisciplined at times. I don't know. They did look bad yesterday.
If that's a Tyler Roll offense, I say keep that guy.
Yeah, right.
I like it.
That was one of my.
I know
that was one of my rants.
That was funny. That was funny.
I loved it.
Well, honest to God, like, Christian Watson is the second best player on that field behind Pierre.
Right.
And how he's an afterthought on most play calls is insane to me. I mean, we've enjoyed great wide receiver play, from Jason Snyder, Jake Wenicky, Cade Johnson, now the Yankees. for years now. We know what a top dog wide receiver looks like. I don't understand.
That guy's.
I don't understand.
Yeah, he's one step even above to me. Athletically, he's one step above anybody. Two, 3 steps. That guy's amazing.
Damn.
And we did kick to him to start with, which I almost had an aneurysm. I just, even though he got nothing out of it, I screamed bloody murder, and everyone around me was like, what?
Like, don't kick to that guy.
What are you doing?
Hey, we need to go back to Aaron's comment here. I'm not sure if you flashed this up or not, Chad.
No.
So Aaron said, who do we need to talk to get a side-by-side video of Pierre's speed with the moose that ran across the field on Friday? And so
like a next-gen stats?
Yeah. Aaron, I'm going to talk to Michael or Abiaza, our video guys, and get that put together. So that would be wonderful. So, yeah.
Yes, we didn't kick it out of bounds, and that makes me happy. At least we didn't do that, but, it's pretty dangerous kicking to Watson. And when we see them again in the playoffs, let's just keep kicking it out of the back end of the end zone, please.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we also did a good job of covering that after the safety. I mean, he got the ball there, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the covering. Right. Yeah.
So he only got about, what did he get? I don't know. He got a ways down the field that time. He was down on their 40 or something.
Well, still, I mean, yeah.
At least he didn't score.
Hey, let's talk about all the guys that came back from injury.
Yep.
That's a huge boost. Get Quentin Hicks back 2 or 3 weeks, right?
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Don Gardner finding out at 12:15, right? Is what he keeps saying, that he's good to go.
Yep. It sounded like everyone was genuinely surprised about that they just didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And then I didn't. Did you watch him a ton? I did not, but it sure seemed like he looked good.
Yeah. You could tell on the one time, I think it was Mathis caught the ball in front of him, and he went to wrap up, and he just had no grip with his hand and just slid off the side. And Mathis is a big wide receiver, so you're going to need to be able to grab on with him for sure. So that was one thing that I saw on that. Yeah. Hey, yeah, Mark. No, let's go to Jordan here. Yeah, I saw this too, Jordan, a little bit during the week. Just saying this game means so much more to SDSU than it does to us. So
we
heard it. So
I had that one. That was my conversation I had immediately after the game in the parking lot. Was the first thing I heard was there was this Bison fan all wound up, and he said, "Well, I didn't think we'd win because we didn't really need this one, and it didn't matter to us anyway." And I just thought, man, come on. I don't believe that for a second.
The people behind us kept saying, oh, this is their Super Bowl. It's the only game they care about every year. And I'm like, dude, it's 2 top 10 teams. Like, it doesn't matter to you guys. If that's the case, then why did you even drive down here?
Right?
Yeah, that drove me nuts.
Yeah, whatever.
And
it's not like USD is,
Yeah. I think, last week, my comment, my I hate the Bison comment got a lot of them worked up. And so there's just something about it. I have so many NDSU friends. Where I live now in Appleton is like an hour and 45 minutes to Brookings, an hour and 45 minutes to Fargo. And so everyone's split here, 6 days out of the week, 364 days out of the year, we're best friends. It's just on game day, there's that fire in your belly, and it just like, I hate playing these guys. So that's where I'm at. The rest of the time, though.
I think the thing that got him most riled up is the guy that's, just right there to your left. And Dallas got him riled up with the no Z comment. And
oh, man, I started such a fist fight on Twitter. That was fun. That was everything I wanted that to be.
Hey, that's where it got heated up, was just that one comment, man. It was the shot that sparked the World War, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about James E. Larks. Pull up James E. Larks there. Okay, so there's been some controversy, right, on the refereeing, the officiating in this game. NDSU media posted the photo today of the no call in the end zone where Don does have a healthy chunk of the player's jersey, Mathis's jersey, pulling it down, interfering with his ability to catch the ball. The previous possession, Don was called for a phantom pass interference call that James is talking about here. Just an insane call, in my opinion. Don didn't touch him. It was beautiful coverage. It's how you're taught to do it. And so the joke, again, I was standing by McKnight on the sidelines, and the joke was, that's a makeup call for earlier, a no call now. So I don't know how they call the one previously, but don't call that. I mean, the one on Daishan in the first half was somewhere in between. Daishan had his jersey, pulled the neck. I was standing behind the official that threw the flag. I saw exactly what that official saw. But this is pretty bad to not call it. Let's be honest.
We were standing right there, and it looked like the ref kind of had his head turned. And if you look at this, you could see how he may not even see that because it's blocked by the offensive player's arm here. I mean, yeah. It's somewhat understandable, even though it's egregious that another ref didn't see it.
Yeah.
They were all down our throats, and we were all like, "Yeah, that was pass interference." But hey, it's not the only call that's been called wrong in the whole game. They're humans.
Yep. And what was the other one? The first down.
Oh yeah,
the push out of bounds on Bach. Yep.
And then the reestablishing himself. Come on, that was blatantly bad, right?
Yeah. Dallas. I mean, what did you think on that when he was reestablishing himself or when the forward progress was stopped?
The forward progress one, that one I lost. I had some choice words and probably said some stuff that I shouldn't have in that one. I mean, he clearly kept going. It was clearly continuation. I guess if someone blew the whistle on the field, but I sure as hell couldn't hear a whistle from where I was at. And none of the players did either because everybody kept going. So that one did not seem correct to me at all.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to talk about this one just a little bit here. Cale Reeder, safety, that has passed Manchagaya on the depth chart at safety. That was a heck of a snag on that onside kick. Ooh, absolutely.
We had debates on if they actually, because you wouldn't, it's okay if it goes out of bounds there. So we were debating on if they taught him to kind of side Olay that and, decide whether or not the basket catch and let that go out of bounds or not. So I don't know if that's the case. I have no idea. But, that was a risky catch. Great catch. But
no, Cale got an interception too. Wasn't he the one that got the
That was Norblade that got the interception.
Chase, my bad.
The other young safety. So,
right.
Yeah. Those two are going to be dang good back there on the back end. I mean, they're pushing the two seniors for playing time as a freshman and a sophomore, essentially. So
that was mentioned in Rants and Raves, was it not?
Mm-hmm. Darren, what comment are you talking about? Even Stig got excited about that call. So, Terry, what did you guys think about the so-called late hit out of bounds? I thought it was pretty soft. Pretty soft. It sure looked to me like the runner was still in the field of play.
I actually thought he was out. I really did.
He was.
And
okay.
I only saw the one replay on the jumbo screen. I haven't rewatched, but I sure thought he was out.
I thought it was incredibly soft, and I let the side judge that threw the flag know that when he was standing down by me, because I mean the guy just gave him a push, right? It wasn't like he knocked him off his feet. The forward progress call is what Darren Amex says he was talking about here.
Sure.
Sorry, got the wrong one there.
Yeah, I'm glad Stig got fired up about that. As he should have. I couldn't see him from where I was standing. It's so different being on the sideline, just the speed and what you can actually see versus what you can't. So
I remember him getting in the ref's ear on that one. So he probably said holy nutmeg at least twice.
Hey, but he stayed in his box, so that's what's important. He didn't get the penalty. So
maybe the ref owes him a milkshake after that one.
Probably called it horse manure. If he was that upset, it would have been horse manure if he was that upset.
That's up there.
All right,
Garrett Myers
Jordan Fink.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let's pull up Garrett first.
Yeah, Garrett
as long
said
as we're on
that late
penalties.
hit was right in front of him and looked legit. So I had a bad angle on it. So
All right. Jordan Fink, don't look now, but Jack's are getting healthy. Just need to finish the season out and get that first round bye.
Yes, sir.
And if you've paid any attention to the folks that have votes, they put us back in the top 4. So
I was shocked by that, by the way.
yeah, we're showing up all over in the top 4. So with prominent voters, at least, that always show their ballots on Twitter. So, oh man, how would you grade Jason X preparation and play calls?
not as highly as I'd grade that tweet. From the top row. Awesome. Sorry, Frazee. We all like you. You're a friend of the pod, but you knew what you had going when you put that out there, like you said. And yeah, you paid for it a little later.
So for those of you that aren't on Twitter, we're going to drag this onto here because it's pretty darn funny.
Want me to pull it up?
Yeah, pull it up. So Matthew Frazee, who is one of the admins for the FCS Fans Nation podcast and Facebook group, he's a great guy. He was on with Ben and Brennan last week. Coach X-wife tweeted a photo memory from 2 years ago, the Marker game at Brookings, the crowd, kind of just a short video. Frazee quote tweets it and goes, "Now show the ending." She never responded. Frazee or Eck at the end of the game, later on in the day, in the evening, he posts a picture of him and his family holding the marker from yesterday. And that was it. No comment, no anything. It was the best roast of Frazee ever. So excellent job with that, Coach Eck and Mrs. Eck. Thank you for being a good sport. So
if my internet was faster, it'd be pulled up, I promise. But
yeah. All right, so let's go back through some comments here. Jim Poppin, 10 of the top 25 teams lost. Here we go. Chad's got it. Now tweet the ending. And there it is. There's the family photo. Oh, man.
There's more. We just got to click here and we'll get some more.
This isn't going to be as entertaining for those of you listening on the podcast.
Sorry.
But for those of you that are on the live stream, I hope you appreciate this. It's gold.
My internet's slow, so maybe we should
yeah. All right. So where are we at here? All right. Terry, the refs really did try to help the furry cows. I just think this year, Terry, the officiating in the Valley, it all evens out. It's
bad all around.
It's been bad this year. I don't know what's going on. Ugh. Aaron again. Trick plays. Rank your favorite. Saturday's strong craft versus Vinatieri's fake kicked in Montana, or hiding Mengarelli behind the line in Fargo back in 2016.
I'm big on this current one, but that might be recency bias.
One, Aaron, way to break those 3 out and list those in order. That those are tough.
I think the kick in Montana got me the most fired up though, because that was pretty.
Well,
I was there. I lost my mind. It was so fun.
Yesterday, I had no clue what happened.
Me neither.
From where I was standing, I couldn't see. Like
I said before the show, luckily I got to see Pierre crouch down. I went, oh, like that was. I knew something was going on, but I really didn't catch it. And by the time I realized what happened, it was over. And of course,
and it made, at least on Twitter. I mean, it made every major syndicated, clip for every major account in the country.
And that was
why wouldn't it?
2 days in a row. The Moose first, and then that play. So,
right.
I'm going to go with Vinatieri's fake kick in Montana, just because we lost the Mengarelli game in 2016. We ended up losing that game, right? So, right? Because I was in the playoffs. They did that.
I was in the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So,
sounds right.
Yeah. All right, Ryan. I thought NDSU had a lot more offensive holding than the one shoestring tackle attempt on him that was called later. Yeah.
In the game.
Yep. Did you guys feel the play calls got a little repetitive? For both sides, I did. I personally did. I thought we throttled it down in the second half, in my opinion.
Yep.
And then NDSU with roll. I mean, they run the same 10 plays, maybe even less.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that, and they obviously don't. They don't trust the quarterback. But the second half. So my take on that I even had during the game was if Davis were healthy, that second half would go so differently, because I was just begging, if we needed that 8-minute soul crushing drive, and we did not have that in us, and we couldn't do it. I mean, even to the point where I would have been okay if NDSU would have put together an 8-9 minute drive, which they sort of did, that ended in a field goal or something. That actually would have been great. But if you've got Davis healthy, like we've talked about, totally different style of back. At that point, their line is worn down a little bit. He's cracking off 4 or 5 a pop, and and then that just bleeds it out, demoralizes them, and it's over.
Yep. Well, even I really didn't mind in the second half when we were running that Rudy package a few times. Yeah. Because Rudy was getting that 4 or 5 yards. So, yeah.
Chad, when you left, you got muted again there, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry. I feel like I'm a professional, guys. Play one on TV. No, I feel like we didn't play the Rudy package enough, honestly. It was so successful the few times we ran it. It was more successful up the middle than we were with Pierre. There was a couple plays where we ran Pierre up the middle and got basically nothing. And I was like, man, we should have just ran the Rudy package right there.
Mm-hmm. But I thought he only ended up with 2 carries for 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it went
only
okay.
6 yards a carry.
You know what? When the previous week it was 13 yards a carry with a touchdown, I expect more, okay?
Okay. Rudy, we want more out of you.
I just want to recognize this comment because we got someone here that it's new. Jabari Jones, Conference USA should add Kennesaw State. No, they shouldn't. Kennesaw State needs to stay FCS. So
Kennesaw State has hard times competing in their own conference.
But
they're good in their conference.
They don't have the budget or the support to go FBS.
Well, that's it. Exactly. Because it's less. We get. I love. This has been my favorite hobby now, is debating conference realignment. And actually, I had a ton of fun talking about that with all the people that aren't really into the school and the FCS yesterday, because this is all news to them. All they knew about was Texas and Oklahoma, right? And getting to kind of explain what all went into that. But just kind of the realization that it's not just about production on the field and the results at the end of the season. It's all of the other things within an institution that go into that. And I don't know. With Kennesaw, I have no idea, but I'm going to guess no.
Yeah. When we played down there in the playoffs a few years ago, I mean, that was a big topic of conversation. They've tried so hard to get fan support, student supports, and it just hasn't happened down there, even though they've had a wildly successful football program in the last, less than 10 years. So, yeah. So maybe Jabbar, yeah. Will Davis play at USD?
Could.
After this week, what do we know, right? We don't know anything on this. Coach Stig is playing these cards pretty close to the chest.
So let's talk about what we do know about Davis before we get on to any USD talk, though. So he did practice this week. It didn't sound towards the end. I don't know that it was necessarily limited. I think, from my understanding, it was pretty well full go by the end. I don't know. I mean, this came from 2 or 3 people and could be complete garbage. I don't have a source like you, Matt. You're plugged into everybody. I think the president calls you before he makes any major decisions for the university. But from what I heard, is he was pretty full go, and then it actually was a game day decision to not dress him.
That's cool.
Have you heard anything contrary to that?
Yeah, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard anything contrary to that.
Okay.
I mean, last week it sounds like there was so much disinformation coming out and so much
and I'm helping spread that disinformation.
Yeah, I mean, it was really hard.
Good job.
And see, even Terry goes, had me fooled. He went through pregame warmups. So
sorry about that.
Okay, he did do pregame warmups. Thank you. Then I'm not crazy. So
So James thinks we should play him and take the last 2 games, but then what happens when we get in the playoffs, James? I mean, that's a good thought, but we're going to want him in the playoffs, right? So I think we don't want to bring him back too soon. I think that's really the plan. He's a big weapon.
Yeah, exactly. He's a big part of what we do for exactly what Dallas talked about there. That he's that grinder in the second half. So
can I hold on? I had a couple of just random things at the game I wanted to get at here. We're at 35 minutes here.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you want to get into game balls pretty soon.
Yep.
So all right. So and these are completely random in no particular order. One, I've got a fan rant. Now the rave is obviously that the attendance was fantastic. The student section, oh my God. If anyone listening to this pod knows a student that was at the game, call them, text them, give them a hug, Venmo them $20. That student section was amazing, and they stayed for the entire game. I'm so happy as an alumni and as a former player. God, that was fantastic. However, there are so many people that cheer when we're on offense, and it drives me insane. I love that you came to the game, but when we're going up to the line of scrimmage, please shut up.
Uh-huh.
And then the second one, not nearly as important, is please don't wear yellow when you go to the Marker game. My God, they wear yellow. Stop wearing yellow. My dad, I love to death. Charlie is still a record holder for SDSU. He was a top 50 all-time player. He wore a yellow SDSU shirt. So please, wear blue to the Marker games.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
And I can't believe I missed this in Rants and Raves because I tweeted about it and it pissed me off. Club seat members, what are you doing selling your tickets to Bison fans in there?
What?
Yeah, there was Bison fans in the club section. There weren't a ton. It was less than previous years, but I bet there was still a dozen scattered throughout there, and that annoys the heck out of me. So
they weren't maybe just friends that they had brought in, right?
I don't think – maybe, but it was a chunk of them. It was 3-4 tickets at a crack, so maybe.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
One positive real quick, at least on the visitor side, I didn't walk through the whole home side, but they added a little pop-up concession stand with like waters and popcorn, and that was an awesome response. We've discussed that a bunch. That helped, although I did have a guy that's actually lives in Brookings. He played at Augustana, that only goes to games with me maybe once a year, and he came back at one point and said, well, I just wasted an hour of my life waiting for this soda. Thank you. And when he got back, so it's tough to hear that.
Yeah.
So Darren brings up a good point. It could have been corporations that have tickets.
Sure.
And if that's the case, they shouldn't allow Bison fans in the gate.
Hey, the other thing, I had a great talk with Austin Bicey, the facility manager in the event day game operations guy.
Oh, nice.
And so he talked about some of the changes they've tried with just selling water at certain stations, trying to find different people to work concessions, work the gates. I mean, it's like everywhere they're having some labor issues. I did make the suggestion on the east side to always have that northernmost gate open at the end of the game so people can leave and just walk to the backyard instead of having to funnel back down to the south and then wrap around back to the north. So they're very open to any ideas. So if you have suggestions or ideas, just DM me and I'll make sure that they get to the right spot. So happy to help
President of the university. That's who Matt talks to.
He's got that old school Batman red phone, just picks it up, goes right in.
Yep. All right. So let's get to game balls. Okay. We're on 40 minutes already. I want to leave some time to talk about USD. So offensively, Pierre, I think Pierre's the obvious choice, but I mean, the 605 Hogs were just again tremendous yesterday. I almost gave it to them. You could have given it to Jackson, who had the quietest 118 yards ever. And Tyler Merriam said on the radio show that 100 of those came after contact. So
I had the same thought. I read his yardage and I thought it was a typo.
Yeah.
And then I read your rants and raves and you said the exact same thing. So no, I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah. So
I think that Chris O gets a little credit here. I mean, he did a great job of taking care of the ball, making good decisions this game, and I want to give them just a little shout out. So good job, Chris.
Yep. Defensively, I went with Adam Bach. Almost took him off because of the penalty. But man, him and Cam Miller, if you aren't aware, are high school teammates, very good friends. They were both from Solon, Iowa. I saw a bunch of Solon, Iowa shirts in the backyard, and I thought that was kind of cool because there's 3 kids playing from Solon, 2 on the Jackrabbits, 1 on the Bison. So shout out to that small town in Iowa. Very cool. And then special teams. Who did I end up going with there on special teams? I wanted to go with Kayla Reeder just for recovering that punt. But I went with Cole Fromm. Those extra points, missed extra points are huge in a game like this. Missed field goals can really swing the momentum in a game like this. And Cole was perfect on the day. 2 for 2 on his field goals, 3 for 3 on his extra points.
Yep.
Good job, Cole.
In my mind, that was one of the 3 things that won that game. You've got 0 turnovers. You've got less penalties than the opponent, and you're 2 for 2 on field goals. Those things will win you a game almost every time.
Jabari, we are not an FCS countrywide podcast. Yes, Kennesaw State likely does have a larger budget than STSU's budget. That is why we are not looking at going FBS right now.
Thanks for the information.
But thank you. Appreciate you listening. But we're not in a position to go FBS right now. If Kennesaw is interested in it, I hope they can get some more fans in their stadium to do it and make it happen. The Atlanta Metro would be cool to have another team there.
And does Jabari happen to be a Kennesaw fan? Hopefully he is, I guess.
I hope so.
Yeah. He seems to have a vested interest.
He lives in Utah or something.
He's a Southern Utah fan.
Impressive.
Yeah. All right. But thank you for the information. We do appreciate that. Sorry for the snark. All right. So USD preview. Let's talk about them. Oh, sorry. We got to go back and talk about Jackrabbit Central quick. I wandered over to the bookstore on Saturday, just looked at some stuff. The bookstore was full of people. It was awesome to see. There is so much cool merchandise right now that I haven't seen, haven't taken the time to look at online. Stock up for your winter gear that's coming up. Cold season's here. So get your scarves, get your hats, mittens, your heavier jackets.
Sean Anderson walked over there and got some gear during the game, halftime-ish, and he pointed out that was a pretty cool thing that we had at our stadium. So he was glad he was able to get a ball cap. So they do a great job.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the mangy mutts from Vermilion now. So USD.
Hold on, who?
Yeah, right? The mangy mutts from Vermilion. Where they playing in Outhouse. So
I thought it was a water reclamation plant.
I forgot they still had a team.
Yeah, right. So Dallas, you're going to get me warmed up. You're going to get me ranting right away.
I'm sorry. That could not have been more tongue in cheek. My dentist played for the Yotes. Chris, I'm sure you're not listening, but I'm just completely joking right now.
So I've been DM'd now a dozen times that this is a trap game, that this is a major letdown game. And that is just not the case. USD is legit this year. They are playing for their playoff lives, and they beat us 2 years ago down in Vermilion. There is no reason we have to show up for this game. There's no reason we're not going to show up. So
and they kind of hosed us by not playing us last year. So
yeah, right.
I mean, I heard someone cough in church earlier today. Are you sure that they're going to be ready to play this game and not cancel it?
and I still dislike Bob Nielsen, right? For 6 years ago at Western Illinois, what he did to us there. So I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
When he went,
what a guy.
For those of you that are newish to the program, SDSU was playing for their first time ever having like a chance at a top 8 seed. There was a terrible blizzard in Western Illinois, Eastern Missouri, wherever they're coming from, Eastern Iowa. And the buses had a challenging time getting to Macomb. They got there about an hour before kickoff, and Nielsen refused to let the Jackrabbits have a full regular warm-up. So the Jacks got off and had to play and really kind of played like crap in that game. So that's why I don't like Bob Nielsen. But that's beside the point. But USD, so USD is legit this year. Carson Camp is a good quarterback. He comes from Illinois. He's a freshman. It's his second year. He did play in the spring. In the spring, he struggled with decision making. He's been much better this fall. Completion percentage of 63%, almost 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's a good player. He has the ability to scramble as well. Not a huge runner, but he's not he's not terrible running either with the ball. And they have a good running back this year, a sophomore, Travis Tice, 600 yards, 7 TDs, a 4.8 average. They have 2 true freshmen that carry the rock quite a bit, Nate Thomas and Mike Manaseri. Each Thomas has a 6.8 average and Manaseri has a 4.6.
I mean, without having watched any film, I'm not going to pretend like I have yet. I just didn't get a chance today. I mean, it really kind of looks like a 3-headed monster situation at running back. I mean, shoot, those what is it? Tice and Thomas. I mean, they're number 7 and 8 back to back in the conference rushing. So I don't think that you're going to see any drop off. I don't know. Do you know rushing style at all, Matt? Have you had a chance to watch? I mean, is it scat versus Punisher versus balanced or what?
So they still want to spread you out. I mean, they still have the talented wide receivers. Sampson at tight end can still split. They want to spread you out and hit you that way. They want to get you running how they always do.
They have
and stress you out.
But they do have the most rushing attempts in the conference.
Exactly.
Looking at their stats, that one totally threw me off because everything else to me led me to believe that they were a pass first. Camp's got good numbers, makes great decisions. The way it seems that you might have said this, Matt. I was trying to look up another stat, but I think he's only had a couple of picks. I mean, he has
just the 2 picks.
Two. Okay. But to have that many. Oh, and the other thing that caught me off guard is how many times they punted is shocking. I mean, they're punting I swear there's 3 or 4 games where they punted 8 or 9 times, which totally threw me off with the type of offense that I think that they run. So, but no, those backs look real good.
Yeah, and they've played well this year. They're 6-3. We all know they should have beat Kansas that opening week, the same night that we beat Colorado State. They should have beat Kansas. They had no business losing that game. Out of conference, they beat a bad Northern Arizona, a bad Cal Poly, lost to Missouri State by 8, beat up an Indiana State, beat North Dakota, beat UNI, and then had a stinker 2-3 weeks ago against Illinois State.
That reading the stats for that game, I can't believe anyone was left in the stands. That looked so bad.
Well, Camp, if you don't know this, Camp got knocked out in the first quarter on a helmet-to-helmet hit, kind of a cheap shot. The same cat from Illinois State that hit Watson and knocked him out of the game the week before. So, a safety for Illinois State, 23, I believe is his number. I don't know why I remembered that, but that's weird.
Because you're petty and judgmental.
Yeah, right. And so they took care of business against Western last week, 42-21. What we've preached for years with USD, why USD has struggled. Just reading Mark Nelson's comment. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, appreciate that. Nelly, love you, buddy. Good to hear from you. Nell's my fullback.
Nice.
I wish Kyle was here. We could talk fullbacks with him.
Yeah, well, USD doesn't use a fullback, so they're irrelevant in this game.
Okay, fine.
So, sorry, Kyle.
Well, they are the opponent. They can't be completely irrelevant. Oh, you're saying fullbacks.
Yeah. So we've talked for years that USD has struggled in their transition because they're not good enough in the trenches. They actually have a decent offensive line now. They have a very good defensive line. They play kind of a wacky 3-4 hybrid positionless football is what they kind of call it. So we'll see because their D line is good. So yeah. And Steve, thanks for bringing this up. So perfect timing. Timing is everything. What's going on here?
That's
all right. Because their D line, they're good. Their offensive line is young, which is going to, I think, be in our advantage. But their offensive line is big, and they're the best USD offensive line since they transitioned. If you remember when USD was good a handful of years ago with Strevler, for that one season.
Strevler was good a few years ago.
Yes, thank you. Strevler was running for his life basically every time he dropped back, and he was just the best player on the field and could make plays. That's not the case anymore. They have a good offensive line. So, yeah.
The things that jumped out just on the Western Illinois game a little bit, looking statistically, is they gave up 2 sacks, they had 2 fumbles. Like again, I think they punted like 9 times, and the number of passing yards. Do you remember how many passing yards we gave up against the Leathernecks? I know that they want to throw the ball, but I think we held them under their average, and they gave up 400 and some passing yards. So it did make me wonder if they were susceptible there.
Wasn't it like 180 that we gave up to Western? It was not much.
Yeah.
Because we held Houston way down.
Okay.
Chad, you want to look that up quick?
I'm working on it.
Well,
Okay,
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but those to me are the things coming out of that if you're playing a bad team, you win by 3 scores or whatever, and all is forgiven. But again, a couple of sacks, a couple of fumbles, and then letting them throw the ball a whole bunch like that to me maybe opens up what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. Going back, Darren had a good question. Is Camp a runner? He can be. He's capable. He has before sacks. He has 200 and some yards on the season, so he has 217. But then you factor in sacks, and he's down to a net of 63. So, yeah. But defensively, their linebackers are also really good. I think you're right, Dallas. If we're going to have success on offense, we're going to run the ball, but they are susceptible to the pass. Like I think the Yankees are going to have a good game. They're young at corner, and I believe their best cornerback actually dropped out this season with a knee injury. So I thought I read that somewhere. So, Chad, what are you showing us?
So we got the net yards passing on the WIU game, and we had 195 right there.
Okay. So Western Illinois had 207. Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah, Terry was right. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, this is a good point. And I could see us doing this. We kind of did this yesterday against NDSU as well. Bend but don't break. Just let them dink and dunk down the field and think and hope that they're going to make a mistake at some point, that they can't play perfect the whole way down. So that's a great point again, Jordan. Thank you.
I still, as much as you talk about their line being improved, I still get the feeling here that this is one of those games where if we can go into halftime in a 14-10 type scenario, I love our chances in the end. I mean, they might be improved, but they cannot. I just don't think they can keep up with our guys. I really don't in the trenches.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on that. I mean, they finally have the size on the offensive line for sure. That's been missing. They've been light for a lot of years, and part of that's just because they were playing such an up-tempo, pass-happy offense. I think that they couldn't maybe have some of the big mountains out there.
Oh, that's true.
But I don't know. They're young. Their left tackle Jensen has played a lot of games for them. He's their senior, but the rest are just sophomores and freshmen. So redshirt freshmen. So we'll see on that.
Who do we going back to returning players, Matt? So we got Hicks back, we got Norblade back, Gardner came back. On the defensive side, who are we missing yet?
No one, because Backus is back.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all back.
Okay, I thought there was a DB missing. So
I did see a few of the I'm not sure if I saw the Kuslers out there. Just some of our depth pieces. Yep. I think they might have been out. I saw them in street clothes, I think, this week. So, yep, and that hurts on special teams.
So I think they're on special teams.
Yep. So, otherwise, besides Isaiah, and Landon, we're fairly healthy right now. So, all right.
Although Don is not 100% with a cast on his hand. So
yeah, right. Makes it hard to tackle there. So, all right. So let's. I have to do a quick read here for Eric Erickson. So our sponsor of our prediction segment is Eric Erickson of Cutler Law Firm.
Eric
So
E.
Cutler
Harrison.
Law Firm is a full service law firm in Sioux Falls. At Cutler Law Firm, we build relationships based on trust by treating clients with honesty and integrity. That personal attention provides prompt, efficient legal solutions in corporations and businesses, financial services, litigation, trusts, and estates, and more. I can say this, Eric helped me get Jackrabbit Illustrated set up, so I do trust him. So if you're interested in any of that, reach out to Eric at 605-271-4938 or Eric E. at cutlerlawfirm.com. So thanks, Eric, for sponsoring the prediction segment. We appreciate it. So, any injuries? Oh, geez, Jeff, going back. Any injuries from yesterday that you know of? Mason went off the field. Mason came back. So
I guessed it must have been a cramp. I never saw anything on it, but he didn't have a limp to him when he walked off.
Mm-hmm. Hey, guys, speaking of injuries, did you see what I saw?
No.
Did you see what I saw?
I mean, I don't know,
yesterday?
actually.
What?
Mark Gronowski ran off the field to the locker room in the second
really?
half.
Nice.
Ran. All right.
I don't know how to respond. I'm happy about this.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him.
So is he going to be the new Rudy package?
Yeah. Oh,
in the
man.
national
Although
championship game, maybe. Huh?
Here's another
If we get there.
another thing that crossed my mind as I was talking to Kyle. By the way, Kyle ended up joining my friends and I at Kraft for dinner, birthday dinner. So that was pretty awesome. Him and his better half, Lauren. But we were talking about how well Rudy, as a backup quarterback, fills in behind Mark with his style of play, the way that he runs. And again, I know that he's third string, but just again having just that exact same style of play, being able to plug somebody else in for a few plays that could probably run everything that Mark's going to do down the road. That's kind of a cool setup. That doesn't happen very often.
All right. So some of the injuries again here. Did Peyton Schaefer get hurt? I didn't see anything with Peyton Schaefer.
I didn't either.
Michael Griffin. No, I don't think so.
Aware of.
Darren, is there any? We talked about this just a little bit last week. Is there any injuries at right guard? No. They really like Gus at that position. So we'll see.
Matt, did you see? Did they rotate on offensive line the way they did the week before?
Yep, Gus and Eddie. I don't know if it was 50-50, but geez, Gus was in there a lot as a redshirt freshman. So he played a lot yesterday. I'm not sure if it was truly a 50-50, and he was in there in those key moments in the fourth quarter too. Gus was. So I don't know. Did Norblade come back after his pick? I think so. I think I saw him back out there. He was definitely in all the pictures after the game too. So I saw him running. Okay, Terry, you must have seen Mark running too. Mason was definitely just a cramp. All right. Good. Just Pickens was worried about concussion. Oh, yeah. Interesting. All right. So back to predictions. I am predicting, as usual, an SDSU victory. I like us to get back to the 40-point range in this game. I'm going to go 42-21. We're going to double them up, just like they did to Western Illinois. 42-21, Jacks.
Well, I'm upset because you stole the score that I was thinking as well. So I don't have anything to add. Like
Okay.
normal, I guess. Like normal. I don't add anything.
Oh, Chad.
Oh, come on. Are you fishing for compliments here? Give me a break.
No. Yeah.
Well, hey, can you spell immunity for us, Chad?
Why do you got to pick on the guy?
I'm an engineer. We're not known for our spelling prowess. And when I have German keyboard on my phone, it doesn't help. So I won't blame it all on my phone, but I tend to try.
Man. All right, Dallas, you got a score?
Yep. I think it's going to be a little bit tighter. Let's go 36. God, I was going to double them up again and go 36-18. 36-21. Jackrabbits.
Okay. For players, for me, Chad, I'll let you go first on this one as kind of a guest. So
as who I think is going to make the difference?
Yeah, the difference makers, the players of the game that we talked about.
Colonel Sanders.
Ooh, okay.
Yep, he's going to get home a couple times.
Okay. Dallas?
I put zero thought into this and was really hoping that you were going to talk for about 3 or 4 minutes so I can come up with somebody that is not a lazy guess, because when I give a lazy guess, it's typically Adam Bach, because he's going to have 12 tackles and a TFL and probably a pick or something.
Yeah, right.
God, you know what? I'm excited for the guys that are back. So I'm going to defensively, I'm going to say let's go combo of Hicks and Gardner. And on offense, what are we going to do against them?
Run the ball.
You think we're just going to run the damn ball?
I hope so.
Can I be a homer and pick Rudy? I don't know what the package is going to be. I won't do it. I feel like you can't pick Pierre, because what the hell? You're going to pick your All-American running back that's going to run for 175? Like, there's no I'm not in any way earning my paycheck doing that. Like, I feel like I have to come up with something interesting here.
So then pick Chris O.
The quarter. Yeah, you know what? Let's pick them apart. Chris O, let's do it.
And you guys, you know what? I'm going out on a limb here. It's Isaiah Davis time. Isaiah Davis is going to come back. I'm predicting it now. USD hasn't played him yet, so they're going to get the full Isaiah Davis treatment, even though Isaiah is likely going to be on a pitch count. But he's going to make those pitches count. So Isaiah Davis, my player of the game, my difference maker right there. And defensively, Stallbird. It's going to be Stallbird. He's going to be used to kind of keep Camp in check. So, and he'll likely end up on Sampson at multiple points in the game too. So, all right, Rudy throws this game. Man, we love Rudy on this show.
There.
Yeah, man, look at that, Dallas.
I know that Dallas is a huge Rudy guy, right?
Yeah. So cool. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here tonight. Chad, thanks for joining us. Thank you for a fun day yesterday. It was so much fun meeting so many of you when you came and picked up your flags and just at the tailgating lots. Really, really, really was a blast. We appreciate all of you for listening, sharing, flying our flag.
That was I cannot imagine what that feels like for you, Matt, because just me being professional third wheel in this, looking around and seeing JI flags flying yesterday was pretty surreal. Like that's pretty damn neat.
Yeah, it was very humbling. Honestly, never thought that would happen when I started a stupid blog. So yeah.
It looked amazing, even though there wasn't enough wind to carry the flags, which I'm not complaining about.
No.
Yeah. So cool. Well, thanks everyone. Let's have a good weekend. Let's get back to Brookings in 2 weeks for the UND matchup. There's still tickets available if you want to go down to Verm and risk catching something, but that's up to you. So if not, get to Shenanigans and watch it. So, all right, go big, go blue,
go
Jacks. Horns down.